Friends and family, thank you for joining me here at the American News Network with Chris Sanders on April the 29th, 2025, celebrating the first 100 days of Trump being in office. And we see his popularity going down, and it's because we're following Netanyahu into endless wars when his mission was to provide peace for the world. We had an accident yesterday, USS Harry Truman. We have a FA-18 going into the ocean. Now, we're not being transparent on as to why. We're hearing many things, even such as that we could be, we moved from a Houthi missile fire, or did the Houthis just blast that thing off, or was it just hit out at sea? We don't really know what the truth is. We don't have a lot of transparency happening. But we do have the effects of war happening all over the world. And I wanted to bring that to your attention because Russia right now, they're in the Ukraine, but they're also in North Korea and Iran. And at the same time, we have China, and China's also in Egypt and in Yemen and all around the Strait of Taiwan. And they have one common enemy, and they're laying all of the chess pieces out to go to war with us in the United States. Now, just yesterday, also another hydrogen bomb explosion, and they're trailing every single U.S. Navy ship that we have while Trump's telling the world, I love Xi Jinping. I don't. I think we need to take his ass out and take it out right now. I'm sick of that country stealing every patent that we file. I'm sick of the crap they manufacture that floats in the Pacific Ocean. It's not Australia, Germany, any other country that's stealing the patents of every scientist of the world, is it? No, it's China. How could you tolerate that crap or like somebody like that? He's coming here buying property around our U.S. missile silos, and I'd heard when I went out with Mike Lindell, I talked to General Flynn and other people, and I said, I think they're trying to put cell phones around the missile silos around their property so they can triangulate a better location to hit our missile silos. And they told me, they said, Chris, we think it's much worse than that. We actually think that he is hacking the computer systems underneath. And that's major stuff to consider that we have that we're looking at. So we need to kick China out immediately. We need to kick them out of the United States, and we need to do that like right now. Putin has a big warning he's given out to us, and he's showing us the victory signs. Now, if you pay attention and you look what you're seeing here, these are North Korean soldiers fighting with Russians in the Ukraine, claiming victory. So they've liberated Kursk. And I'm going to say that they've liberated Kursk. I'm going to say that we shouldn't be there. This is old Russia. They're just using this as a ploy to fight their civil war. We're fighting the civil war of Russia, folks. That's what we're doing. We need to tell Zelensky that he can kiss our butt and just to leave us alone. The fact that they bombarded Trump at the Pope's funeral was utterly disgusting, him and Macron. Zelensky and Macron are both Jews, just like Netanyahu. And I want the world to realize that these Jewish leaders are the ones that are responsible for massive terrorism and using the United States like a bully worldwide. I say that because George Soros, Silverstein from 9/11, Harvey Weinstein, Epstein, the judge the other day that tried to prohibit Trump. Why are all these Jews working together? Trump, I thought you were a Jew. Do we know the difference between a Zionist, Ashkenazi Jew, the synagogue of Satan, and know the difference from those Talmud followers to people that follow the Torah and actual Jews? Because I tell you something, it's going on today, and I wanted you to know that Zionists are not Jews. And if you think we need to support Israel, well, please get some education within your mind and support Israel, not Zionism. And there is a massive difference. I want you to look at this and what's going on. This is what basically they're doing right now to Jews, the Zionists. Look at how they treat the Jews in Israel, actual Jews. Are you with Israel? Are you with Zionism? Because Zionists are killing Jordan, Turkey, Iran. They're making America go into endless wars as if they own us through the banking system. That's all this is. Fraud. If you read the Old Testament and the Torah, the Pentateuch, that's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, you know that what you're seeing here is not following the law. And what I'm seeing is the IDF and the Zionists murdering 14,000 children, over 52,000 adults, displacing 1.9 million people, and haphazardly putting the United States Navy in danger from every reckless, racist decision that they feel entitled to do. And I'm sick of it. People in America ask ourselves, when did this impending necessary doom of Iran happen? Is it something that really concerns us? Did Iran just all of a sudden become the enemy? This was our top concern during Biden and all of the time, or is this just something that Benjamin Netanyahu wants us to do because he somehow owns the president, or he owns our Congress through all the bribes, and bribery is obviously illegal in the Constitution, but yet we call it lobbying. And who's the largest lobbyer? Netanyahu and Soros. And see, our founding fathers, when they created the Constitution, they saw through that. What they're doing is abusing our Constitution. And they're getting away with murder. The people that are getting murdered were the people in Afghanistan, the people in the Ukraine, the people in Israel, the people in Lebanon. And the common culprit is us, because our politicians are abusing our Constitution. Now, a liberal leader was elected in Canada last night, so we no longer have Trudeau. We have another guy, and he immediately claims war on the United States. We need to shut our borders down with Canada. Too many illegal aliens, too many illegal alien Indian people, in fact, are coming here. And just like Zionists are not real Jews, they're Germans. Okay, at the same time, I mean, look at them. They all have blue eyes. They're not Semitic, so they can't claim to be anti-Semitic. You look at Benjamin Netanyahu's Wikipedia, they erase it to where he looks like, oh, I do have some Sephardic Jew in me. It was proven way back. Sure, buddy. Sure you do. Now, Pakistan and India are going full on out. And when we invested into J.D. Vance, what I realized is that was an alliance. And India was wanting this alliance with America hardcore. They were investing in Kamala Harris on one side and J.D. Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy on the other. Now we are looking at a major civil type of war, okay? And it's not even funny on as to the direction of what we're looking at here. We don't know what's going to happen next, but Modi has given the green light to attack Pakistan at any moment. Pakistan then went to Russia, like, give me more bombs. And Putin was like, hold it. Trump, listen, I don't think you know where you're at. And I'd take a bullet for you, sir. This is where you're at. Trump doesn't want to go against us. He's fighting the Ukraine war. He does have more of a beef with Japan. If we continue this, he's going to take over Alaska. Don't laugh at this. But listen, he is waiting to see if we're going to follow Netanyahu. And if we follow Netanyahu, we'll have Russia against us. If we drop Netanyahu because he's not listening to you, sir, I mean, if you want to follow Netanyahu into every war, what have we followed him in? It's been 100 days. You know what I'm going to bring up? How about Lebanon? How about not condoning Israel on putting explosive devices in another country and killing their children? We cannot stand for this. You've gone from a 54% positive rating all the way down to 36 to 39% today. And right now there is a Trump rally that's in Michigan where you're most unpopular. And I would sit there and say, why on earth would you do that when it puts your life in danger? And then we're definitely then going to go to war, sir, with India and Pakistan, because Vance will be in the pocket of India. So these are all the things that I'm looking at and analyzing, but you got to understand that everybody has picked sides here. It's India against Pakistan. Saudi Arabia is over there, but understand something that you're not getting, and this is to the world. Right now we have Saudi Arabia on our side. We thought we had Egypt on our side. We thought we had Turkey on your side, on our side. What you're going to learn is none of them are on our side. You got to wake up and understand when I say blood is thicker than water. We have the water, the baptism of Christianity. They have the blood of Islam. In the end, as you're learning now, Egypt is what? Gearing up to attack Israel with China. And in the blink of an eye, you're going to see an alliance between Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Turkey with Egypt to destroy our United States Navy and Israel. And this is the actual facts that we're looking at that people should tell us that are truthful. And it's got the whole world in a conundrum. You can thank Jackwagon Joe for leaving the Taliban all of our gear, which was obvious treason. And now our army's facing that gear coming up south from Saudi Arabia right now. So if we lose one soldier, are you going to sleep at night? Because I'm not donating one boy, one girl, to their ruckus and their stupid war over there over their religion, over who's blessed between Hagar and Ishmael and Sarah. Because if you read the Bible from the beginning to the end, it's all about Jesus and then when he happened in the new covenant. And the word Israel means those that struggle with God, and we're supposed to pray for those that struggle with God, but that doesn't mean we're supposed to lose our country over those that have a problem. And they're still struggling. As I read the book of Jude, if you really want to know as far as what God says about people that are lustful and sinful, like women that think they're men and men that think they're women, it's an abomination to the Lord. It's not just a sin. So in the early parts of the Bible, as I tell people, there's 613 commandments, 248 bad ones, 365 good ones. Moses then made 10. We still can't even follow those 10 as we bow to a cross. And now we're going to go to war. Some good news. Good news that we're looking at right now is Letitia James is looking at getting time, 25 years to life for this dirtbag chick who's obviously not all there. But this is what we're looking at. This is enemy number one. But not just her. Every single judge that's gone after Trump. I mean, they went after somebody that had already been a president. This shows how weaponized the judicial system in America is. We need to actually fire every single judge in America. I know it sounds crazy. We need to fire every single one of them and revote them in and only let them sit in office for 4 years. We're letting certain individuals stay in office that means forever, and that destroys the definition of a democracy. And now we have judges that have become dictators, and to where they think one judge in the whole lineup is equal to the power of the President of the United States. How absurd. All of the judges together in accordance would have the same power as the President because it's checks and balances in 3 equal but separate branches of government. So there's no way one judge in a judicial branch is going to have the same power as the President. That is absurd. And since our judges are doing this, it's time to fire all of them. And as far as the Supreme Court and them being in office until the day they die, that is a clear, obvious sign of an abuse of power. The fact that they wrote it in there to be like that, they're already abusing the law. So we could have a nationwide vote on it, and they would somehow say that that's illegal. So I suggest that we fire every single one of them now. All 9 Supreme Court justices need to be replaced. And if you really want to do justice to America, have a black man, a black woman, an Indian man, Native American man and woman, a white man, a white woman, a Chinese man, Asian man, and an Asian woman, Hispanic. Divide the races out. Make it equal that way, not where there's 5 white guys and then your token black guy and your token Hispanic woman, because we're getting a token of crap. And I think everybody agrees with me as the world is destroyed from those guys getting away with insider trading and murder. Of course, you could ask Nancy Pelosi about this, but as far as the first 100 days, the problem is I've been expecting a little bit more. DOGE has been doing a good job. Pam Bondi, you need to get the lead out of your butt and start prosecuting judges, throwing them in jail, and start doing it immediately, ma'am. Other than that, what happened to the JFK files and the Martin Luther King files? I, as an independent oil man, president of Drill Baby Drill, and owner of a few of these news networks, invested my own money, went to DC and CPAC to bring you that story, which is on my bucket list before I kick the bucket. And I wanted to bring, as a journalist, the true story of the death and murder of Martin Luther King, because I'm convinced it's tied into the FBI and the CIA, and I'm convinced that would have been our first true black American president, not Barack Hussein Obama, some gay, fake Muslim entitled weirdo. He was so gay he didn't even legalize marijuana. That's pretty non-black and gay if you ask me, period. So enough with all the horse crud, because we're facing it like we've never faced it before. Adam Schiff, we have a lot of information on you. Vin Miller did a great job. You see, when he busted, and he was busted as being the third assassin, by Sheriff Bianco, he was actually working as an undercover agent for us and our news agencies and DOGE as we uncovered dozens of semis loaded full of Democrat ballots going into the millions. You see, none of these Democrats were elected, even out there in California, Oregon, Washington, or Nevada. And we got the proof and we have the facts. But they got to use sheriff and everybody they can to attack us, because none of them are supposed to be in office, period. So Pam Bondi, you need to reach out to Vin Miller, and we need to expose and get down to the bottom of the truth of the third assassin case. As we know, he's not an assassin. We need to know why they were so scared and who they're truly protecting. As then Bianco then does some deals and tries to run for governor out there, and I think he's going for governor out there because he's trying to protect an entity. And the entity he's trying to protect, well, this guy right here, married to like Soros's daughter, something like that, but there's a connection between Soros hardcore. And so we have Jen Psaki here and Adam Schiff getting together, tearing up the president, tearing him up as bad as they can. And then shaboom, the next day we come out with information where we have fraud discovered on Schiff. And now Schiff hopefully is going to be looking at jail time. If you need a prosecutor in this, again, my services are always here 100% for free to help litigate and to throw these bastards into the jail cell as far as I can. Of course, I've kind of given myself up as in being prejudicial to the case, so based off that, just understand that I think that the guy's a scumbag. Speaking of other scumbags, I'm going to tell you who else is a scumbag. So we have our beautiful First Lady and our wonderful President going to pay their respects. And they're doing this, and you could kind of tell Trump didn't want to be there because he views Catholicism as a cult, which it is. And my mother was a Catholic, so is my grandmother. I consider myself a recovering Catholic, but you shall worship no idol images. And Jesus said, don't call me Father, for our Father is in heaven. Don't call me Rabbi, he was our brother. And so for this church to molest children and then go above and beyond and against the teachings of the Bible, it defines itself as a cult. Regardless, a lot of foreigners that can't read English well, including a lot of Hispanics or even Russians, stay dedicated to the faith of Christianity, and I can understand that. So we have Trump that's there, and I think Trump is more of a Jew than even a Christian or a Catholic. But those are just my opinions. But what I did notice is I noticed a couple of Jews that were there, and then lip readers said exactly what Trump said to them. So we had Zelensky there, and you're going to see this now. Jackwagon Joe was there, and he was there because he is actually a bona fide 100% Catholic. And he's literally 4 people above Trump right here. So you see Trump, and then you see Biden right there. There's Biden right there, just so you know. He is actually there on location and paying his respects, because Biden and Melania are both Catholics. But then again, then Trump was hunted down by Zelensky and Macron, and Trump said, you guys shouldn't be here. But that's just my point. Trump couldn't even go to a funeral with his wife to pay his respects without being bothered by this guy Macron and his man wife, and Zelensky, who's just, and what I dove on Macron and learned, I'll be darned, he's a Jew too. So we have Macron in charge of France, that's a Jew, at a Catholic place, and there we have Zelensky right there with his wife, and he's a Jew, and they're not looking at the Pope. No, they're eyeballing Trump, thinking about the money that they can try to steal from your kids and my kids, as they try to then get our kids to die for their phony battles. These Jewish Ashkenazi thugs that have learned how to make their money off of murder and international business extortion, and that's all this is. So we have Zelensky, couldn't even wear a suit. Everybody's talking about how Trump's dressed. What about this guy? He can't even wear a suit even at the Pope's funeral. Okay, I have had it with that guy. Putin, I'm wondering what in the world has taken you so long. I've expected for you to teach Zelensky how to fly, but I think I'm getting it. I think Putin has been using Zelensky as his tool just so that he has a way of studying all the United States military gear, draining America, and he's been draining America, studying all of our munitions, and he has been studying them all, to where now he has destroyed the EU and NATO. And this power grid failure that we've had out there, Spain, Portugal, France, and they went green, by the way, last week, but you know what it really is? It's the natural gas that goes underneath Kiev. You see, Putin's been selling all of Europe natural gas. So Europe and the EU has officially crumbled, and I can see it. My dad taught me something after World War II. He said after we beat the Germans, he said they had more munitions than we did, but they couldn't take their planes off the ground. And then when we started hitting them in the field, they couldn't take their dead off the battlefield. They're using ox carts. And that's when we learned that they ran out of gas. And he who controls the fuel controls the world. And truthfully, Europe has run out of gas. And so there's no tariff you can do. You're going to fail. That's why our only option here is drill, baby, drill. And I'm going to drill the kingdom come out of America, Australia. And I think we need to seize the Panama Canal immediately. Hit China hard. Hit them there. Don't take the war to Taiwan. Don't take it to the Houthis. We need to retreat from Israel's situation. And that's the only thing that's going to get Netanyahu to calm down. And if he gets hit, well, hate breeds hate. And love creates love. But if you can just deal with Netanyahu being removed, then all of Israel might actually live. And I just want people to live. And that warmonger, he's set on taking over Iran, and we've seen the map. But there's no way we can follow peace and what you wanted, Mr. President, while you're following and saying that you like Benjamin Netanyahu or Xi Jinping. America needs to stand alone and stand proud next to those that also can stand alone and be true to their own countries. People like Giorgia Meloni, people like Viktor Orban out of Hungary. Fico has followed him too. Argentina's looking well. We have a few leaders that are great in the world, but we need to stand with those leaders. I told you long ago, when Pakistan stole Imran Khan, they would have a problem. And see, there's a war starting today because of it. If Imran Khan was there probably wouldn't be a war between India and Pakistan today. These are all facts. These are facts that things and computers don't think of, but we are getting trailed by jets and ships left and right in the United States Navy, all around the Strait of Taiwan, all around the Philippines, and it's China. China's being an aggressor. My whole point, Mr. President, is if we drop Netanyahu, not Israel, if we drop Netanyahu, Russia will come to our side in the name of Christ and Christianity, and I see this. But I think that you are more of a Jew than a Christian in that you do not see this, because I noticed your yarmulke at the Wailing Wall, and I ask you, why not put on a beautiful cowboy hat? That's what I would do. I mean, it says be covered, but that doesn't mean you need a yarmulke. Because if so, it's a sign to us that you're putting them before us in the lives of our children in the United States military, to them before our own country. And that's not acceptable, I humbly say to you, sir. So I don't know what the story is with the FA-18. Nobody does. We say that we took a turn so fast that it fell off, but that whole story smells like a lie to me. I hope it does to you too. I'm usually right about these things. No, we either lost that plane in the sky or they hit our ship and knocked it off. It didn't just roll off. And we are at war. And Netanyahu is taking us into war. And if you allow him to do that, we're facing China and Russia. If you drop off Netanyahu, our only war then is with China. And I much prefer those odds. Now, as far as my analyzing this, most people haven't taken military science at a place like New Mexico Military Institute, but I have. And he who has the oil is going to win. And I'm telling you, blood is thicker than water. We're going to lose the entire Muslim empire, and this will be Christianity versus Islam, unfortunately, because you're letting it happen. And it wouldn't happen if you would just kick the Zionists to the curb. Again, I showed you how they're treating actual Jews. I'm not saying kick the Jews to the curb. Jews and Muslims can live together. It's the Zionists. It's the Germans. It's the Ukrainians. They're all German, Russian, Jewish people with blue eyes. They do not speak Arabic or Aramaic. Therefore, they are not. They can't even say that they're Semitic people. They're Europeans, 100%. So it's time to kick off the Ashkenazis and their politicians, and we need to actually have some decent rabbis out there, or we're looking at facing Russia, and Israel's looking at a nuclear bomb. And with the fact that China is in Egypt now, yeah, we weren't expecting that. Okay, and so then we're going to have hubs in Iraq, Iran, Saudi, Jordan, Lebanon. That's called being surrounded. And Netanyahu's not stopping. He's continually killing people, continually attacking Gaza, continually even attacking Iran. He attacked Iran last night, just as a heads up. And this is while Trump has asked him to stop. So, President Trump, if Netanyahu listened to your orders, I would say by all means, let's back him up. But it's been over 10 times where he has defied your orders of peace and not to fire, sir. And I don't want to lose one American soldier over another foreign leader that lies to you, to me, the American public, and does it on live television. We're not all idiots here. Now, they can regurgitate fake stuff on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and ABC. It's the George Soros media that I fight. But we're not all idiots. We have literally witnessed this guy defy 2 ceasefires in Gaza, then go in and murder people. We also just witnessed him 2 weeks ago going in and killing everybody at the last hospital that the Palestinians have. Actions like that will unify Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and 2 billion Muslims to go together on a foot march and stomp them out. And their enemy is not America. Their enemy is Benjamin Netanyahu and Zionists. And again, all the Jews, all the true Jews I know, just like all the true black people I know. All the true blacks are with Trump, and all the true Jews I know hate Netanyahu. I'm again going to show you this so that you understand the reality in which we're facing over there right now. This is the IDF. This is them throwing a rabbi to the ground. Okay? And Israel's Jews scream. Do you understand? They are beating up Christians, Muslims, and Jews, the IDF. The Zionists, everybody's a pig. Look, the men with hats, these are Jews. What are they doing? Look at how they're treating these people. These people are savages. Look at how the Zionists are treating the Jews. So if you stand with Israel, you better understand what Israel is. It's not Zionism. It's the people that are on the ground begging for peace, saying, not in my name. Treat these people the way you want to be treated yourself, as the Torah says, not the Talmud of the Zionists. Hashem de Hashem. I want you to witness what the IDF does to people that are Jews. Understand what they do to Christians is twice as worse. Understand what they do to Muslims is death. Understand that they pee and provide urine for the Muslims to drink. Understand that they sexually torture them and torture them. We cannot back the Zionists. Look at the thousands of Jews that are gathered in Israel wondering what has happened to their country. This is a truth, America. You're not seeing this on Fox or ABC. Look at the Jews standing together, trying to have peace. Understand that Netanyahu has hijacked Israel through BlackRock and through the United States, and that Trump does not know the truth. Please look at the pictures and see the truth here. Please understand that Jews are not like trying to kill everybody, and that we can prove it, because in America, Jews and Muslims and Christians and Hindus, we all get along, go out to eat at the same place. Our kids go to school together. We're just trying to make it in the world together. The Zionists believe that everybody else is dog, and they can rape our children, and that everybody else deserves to die. This is extreme racism. And we cannot tolerate backing this kind of racism from the United States of America. Again, I want you to see this and understand that Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in Israel. He uses military power. He's abducting his own citizens for war, just like Zelensky is, because they're bigger Jews that own the banks and institutions and war machines like BlackRock. And I would rather say, can we use BlackRock in the Panama Canal, please? Because I understand you guys are fighting our wars. But your chess game here is going to fail. I can do the math. I can see the technology. I've always known that Israel is a one-bomb town. And with the new hydrogen bomb of China, where do you think they're going to drop those things? People, wake up. Here or there? Because they're lining up in Egypt today. In other news, we had 100,000 tons of the missile material get destroyed by Mossad in one base, and this was just a couple days ago. I reported that. What you're seeing now is that their gunpowder facility blew up today. So Israel's actually doing some good stuff, and he's destroying their gunpowder, and he's destroying their missile stuff. And so Mossad is actually moving ahead, which made me wonder about America. And even though I'm doing drilled baby drill, I'm wondering what is wrong with us in manufacturing. So I'm going to be, and as you know, when I sell sour gas, it's loaded full of sulfur. So I'm keeping my sulfur. I'm not selling it for $2 a ton anymore. And a couple of our ranches up in the Dakotas are loaded full of coal, and we're not selling that for $2 a ton anymore. And to make a long story short, just through oil and gas and coal, I can put together TNT for around $50 a ton. Clean the wax out of your ears. $50 a ton. So as such, a couple of my friends contacted me, and I've agreed to do it. And if you want to get the lead out of your butt, get off your couch, couch potato. I'm offering everybody in America the chance to manufacture bullets with me. So get off your ass, talk to an oil man today, have him save his sulfur, save that coal. Don't let it go to China. We need to start making bullets and ammunition so that we can get every illegal alien out of our country first off. And then we need to help Europe do the same thing, and Australia and New Zealand, and especially Ireland. Now, Ireland, your chances, Conor McGregor, here we'll probably have to do the same thing, but it's time to start electing men, not women, not lawyers, not politicians, but businessmen that have balls, that are used to managing people, because we seem to be just getting the judge types, the lawyers types, and for some reason 25% of them are from Israel. So how could a culture of 12.5 million people have a majority in politics and in video and in media unless the objective is to gain control and disseminate the masses? Again, we're looking at another explosion here today in Iran. And again, this was on a ceasefire. Okay, but we have Israel and the Mossad pounding Iran. They're not going to stop at this, and it's giving China the ammunition it needs to where they can fight us in the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal. Why do you think they're in Egypt, folks? This is all about trade and dominating trade for Xi Jinping. The only way we can dominate the Suez Canal is through our allegiance with Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Jordan. I suggest we do that. Because right now Benjamin Netanyahu wants to take it all, and all the Muslims and all the Arabs see that. And Congress shall make no law regarding the establishment of a religion. They led the Bill of Rights with that, but yet none of our congressmen can read the law correctly. And as such, because they're all illiterate, we're allowing them to destroy our country. And the fact that the Supreme Court hasn't chimed in on this, well, they're all too old and need to be fired. The only person we elected was that beautiful orange guy. And I know he wants peace. But the only way we're going to get peace is for you to dust off Netanyahu. Now, we understand that there's a lot of spying going on. And Israel has their spies throughout our CIA from the stem to the stern. And these are things that are actually happening to us. But understand that India and Pakistan are about ready to go to war. Understand Act Blue is on the investigation right now. It's on investigations as we're speaking. How are they getting us? I'm going to show you the 5 largest ways in which our government pollutes our air. You can call it cloud seeding, you could call it chemical spraying, but there are ingredients that they're putting out into our atmosphere by the metric ton daily. We smell it, we see it. These are the machines that do it. They even use some of our stuff in the oil and gas industry to do it. So I'm just letting you see what's being used, sometimes what's creating the smog. When you smell it and it doesn't smell right, that's because it's not. It's cloud seeding programs, it's chemtrail stuff. So from our food into the air we breathe, why are they getting us? Now, Elon Musk and Joe Rogan talked about the fact that we are going into an epidemic, a decline, and something's happened to the men in America. Wake up, this is what's happening to us. These are actual smoke plumes that are being released in the United States of America by cars, vehicles. Okay, they even shared this technology to see if cloud seeding would work over in Saudi. Sure enough, it works. I mean, they even made it rain in the desert. But is it healthy? Can they put other things in it? Are they putting other things in it? What is smart dust? How come there's aluminum in it? Is aluminum healthy to breathe in? What about silvers and all these other heavy metals and toxicities? Luckily, we have RFK defending us from our food. But now we're going to need someone, I guess, kind of like me to defend our water and our air quality standards through regulating the air to water. These are inside of planes. And as you can see, this is a smaller version, but yes, it's true, where we stick chemicals inside of airplanes and aircrafts, and then we ignite them. And this is basically what's the difference between a chemtrail and a contrail. And if there are elements that are put in there to shield the sun, okay, then you have kind of what's going on. And understand that Bill Gates is behind a lot of this, and he's trying to shield the sun. And I wanted you to see the massive pollution that's going on from his fake meat agenda and his shielding the sun agenda. And you're probably not going to see this on any other news station, are you? You want to talk about being a tree hugger? I thought the Democrats were tree huggers, but look what they're doing to the environment. So these are the top 5 cloud seeding / I don't know what you want to call it, chemtrail, comtrail programs that are out there, and they're the culprits that are tied into big business that are killing us. Now, with Halliburton, we have something that we used back in the Red Adair days. I'm going to let you see my world here. So this is my world going on, and back with Red Adair, when we had to basically suffocate stuff, we have water machines like you have never thought of. And we have to suffocate the well somehow. And so through water, CO2, and all other processes, we literally suffocate her out right there. And as you can see, then the fire goes out. But this is actually going on right now once again. And so as we go into war, the oil fields of Iraq and Kuwait and everything are going to go out. And there wasn't very many of us that got to learn from Red Adair, but I'm blessed in life that I got to. But people asked us, well, where'd you guys learn how to do stuff like this? And all the time in the oil patch, this is not stuff they teach in school. It's called common sense and a lot of balls and to be half-ass crazy. And that's how we actually get this stuff done. But it's suffocation and suffocation of the fire. And this is how we do that. Now, unfortunately, some of those we learned then the machines that we were doing when we were putting out these wells then all created rain and clouds. So this was learned on accident. So then they went into replicating this process and set up these replication machines, and they are in the United States now. And they're now in the top 5 cloud generating machines, and they also make them stable, as you can see here. Now I think they all need to be made illegal, and that they're bad for the environment, and that they're bad for us, just period. But this is something that a lot of people have requested for me to put on the show, and so I wanted to show you this. And these are just some of the things that are just poisoning the atmosphere quicker than anything else that we have that are going on. So here's another one. These are smaller cloud seeding things that I'm going to show you right now. And other countries have gotten into it, but it's like from, Cessnas, double engine planes, 737s, old 747s. This cloud seeding agenda has gotten way out of control. And so what they're explaining here are the dust particulates and how it can shield the sun. And let's get into something a little bit more exciting for you to see here. And basically that would be where, that's if they want you to see it. Okay. Well, anyways, that's going to be a little bit harder there. Now, I want you to know, flashing back, like I said, to Canada, we have a new prime minister in Canada. His name is Mark Carney. He's a Liberal, the Liberal Party. They've won 4 in a row now in Canada, and now Canada has claimed through him economic war and war against the United States. And so in Mark Carney's mind, I think he's going to try to form an alliance with China and understand not India, because India is ours, and maybe Pakistan. So Pakistan and China, we have a new enemy right next door, and it's this guy. And so if this guy wants to play tough with Trump and us, I'm going to say, bring it on, bozo. This will be funny. We'll kick your ass back into the dark ages, and it'll take us probably 48 hours. Get real. Anyways, that's just the way I want to say it, and I see it. They had a sheik up there too, and everybody else was just a complete bozo. And so you're going to have a bozo time up there. Okay? As far as what we're doing, did we really just lose $60 to $70 million in the blink of an eye? Yes, we did. Was this the first time? No. We had an F-35 actually cruise off under Jackwagon Joe, and then we had another FA-18 fall into the Mediterranean. This is something that the woke military is doing. And we still need to transform our military, and we need to do it pronto, because for the woke people that are out there, it's not looking good for us. So did the Houthis hit us? We don't know the truth. And those are just facts. But as this is going on, as all the stages met, we have Spain and France and Portugal without power. Their subway systems, their trains are not working. They're understanding, as this sets in, that the EU is dead, that NATO is dead. Putin controls your electricity. He controls your heating and cooling. This is going to sink in. Let he who controls the oil and gas win. And through this, people of Europe, I want you to understand, there is no more NATO. It is officially dead. There is no more EU. It is officially dead. This is the sign of it. They went green. Green failed you. It's laughable, but you just can't do it. It's even proving more than anything else that our only answer in America is to drill, baby, drill. You can contact George or Hamza at Watergate Capital, or Adam Good with me here at Drill Baby Drill. You can go to americadrillbabydrill.com. We got 3 to 4 refineries we're looking at taking over now, and also any operator that's out there that wants to retire. If you meet us in net revenue interest requirements, we will take you over, and since I'm a landman, I can also give you overrides to make that appealing to you as you retire. So I can actually make it to where if you have a company and you want to keep your overrides, you can. And we're also sitting on the drilling rigs and the pulling units, so that should tell you something. And right now, a lot of people can't get the lead out, but we are turning and burning and turning to the right. I'm trying to place a couple of barge rigs still. If you got swamp areas you need drilled on, contact me, or we're going to have to ship these things to Nigeria. Dow, DuPont, and Exxon are going to wait until Q1, and my partners don't have the time to wait for that long. So if you have a lease that needs immediate help and it's in a swampy situation, do reach out to me and let me know. And again, how important is it that we have natural gas and oil? Well, this is Europe, and we have the people of Portugal, Spain, and France without power today because Putin shut the natural gas line down under Kiev. Yeah, Putin and Zelensky are working together while they're draining America. This has just been a big ploy to destroy America. Please wake up. Please pull out of the Ukraine today. Please let the EU and NATO fall. Please bring all of our troops back home. Please get the Panama Canal. These are things, if we handle them in that order, we'll get on our feet again. We'll be built on a rock and not sand. We can't wipe the world's butt, but we can close our own borders. Trump also set up the Roosevelt Reservation. This is our newest military base. It's from Tijuana, San Diego, California, on the border all the way to Tijuana, El Paso, Texas. It's 60 feet wide. It's 632 miles long. And if you pass it or overcross it, you can be shot, dealt with immediately. This is so that he doesn't have to do posse comitatus. This is so that we have a military base. It's not just a border that you're crossing. So if you step over into the border illegally, into the base illegally, you will be arrested immediately, regardless of what side you're going from. Although I'm sure there will be special provisions to let people go south, as they should. So the EU and NATO have crumbled, and we're investigating Act Blue. Now, people like Adam Schiff used Act Blue money, sent it to people overseas, and then back. So we're on to his fraud with DOGE. I've also exposed $6.7 trillion worth of savings from DOGE to the American people. If you're mad at that, you're either anti-American or an illegal alien, so get the hell off my channel. I want savings for America, and those savings also diffuse our wars that we're fighting. So if you want world peace, you need DOGE to find every dollar that we're finding that is going into the shadow government, going into BlackRock and Benjamin Netanyahu's pockets, and then they're coming around making lobby bribes. And that's why then Speaker Johnson is introducing him as His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu. And I'll remind you, Speaker Johnson, you made 2 constitutional violations when you did that, because titles of nobility are forbidden in our U.S. Constitution. You cannot call him His Excellency or King or Queen. And as such, I move that we have Speaker Johnson replaced with Jim Jordan immediately, or Rand Paul, because we need representation and we need people to follow the law, and they need to be believable. So, those are my suggestions, or even Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm looking at people that have proven to me that that they care about this country. Be preparing for a war with China. And China is finding every single enemy that America has. If it's Israel, China is helping out Egypt. Okay? If it's Taiwan, China's right there to attack them. They are against America. We need to close the door. Somebody out there needs to start manufacturing and fabricating cell phones besides Elon Musk. Get off your couch and start doing it today, son. We got Texas Instruments right in the great state of Texas. There's no excuse. We need to fabricate stuff and manufacture stuff here in the United States. I'll be posting links underneath as far as our American-made bullets and stuff that we're going to be doing in Rapid City, South Dakota with the Indians, so that I can provide them jobs in making bullets. But we don't need the Chinese making our bullets. All you need is a misfire, and then we're shut down for a second, and in that second could be our end. And they could also put mercury and other things to make poisonous gases in the gunpowder. We can't trust them with our food. We can't trust them with munitions. We are fighting a war with China. We need to close the door today. Those are my thoughts, and that's what I believe has happened in the first 100 days. All I think it proves is that China is our enemy, and we can salvage a relationship with Russia if we dust off Benjamin Netanyahu and then save the Panama Canal and save America. My name's Chris Sanders. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for joining me today. And God bless each and every one of you and your families, because that is what everybody's trying to do, regardless of the faith that you are. We're trying to raise children together. So just treat your neighbor the way you want to be treated yourself. But most of all, love. Good day.